Hi there guys, and welcome to an episode. So we're getting really close to the date of the 29th of July, which is the date we leave for England for the 1,500-mile journey through the entire length of Sweden, or pretty much the entire length of Sweden, all the way down through Europe and into England, ready for Ford Fair 2024. So as I say, it's July now, which means up here in the Arctic Circle, we've still got summer. And when I say summer, that also includes summer sunshine. Now, summer sunshine up here is 24 hours of sunshine. It doesn't go dark. As you can see here, the sun sets at around about 11:55 at night, and then it rises again at 1:15, which means the sun kind of just dips down a little bit in the sky. It doesn't actually go down. It is 24-hour sunshine. It is light all the time. But we are going to be leaving and we are going to be going down south. And we're going south through Sweden, like I say, into Europe and eventually on into England, where I know that it's darker at nights. We all know, anybody that drives a classic car, and especially Ford Fiesta like mine, the headlights are about as bright as bad candles. So we need to do something about that. I did do on a previous video that I changed the light bulbs to LED bulbs, and they were all right. I didn't mind them. They did shine really bright, but I had to have resistors on each bulb, and I didn't really like it. It looked absolutely ugly. So as much as I like the light on them, I'm not going to use them. But then I do want something else. We've got Arctic summers now, but we won't have in a couple of months' time. So we're going to fit some extra lights to it. And when I say extra lights, we're going to fit a light bar. Now this is a kit that I bought. I bought the kit from a place called Mr. Tuning. And they sell this as a complete kit, as you can see. So you've got the light bar there and you've got the bracket. Now these brackets are pretty readily available in Sweden because we do fit a lot of these sorts of things, because even though it's summer now, we do get the Arctic winters as well, which means that the sun goes up at around about 12-ish in the middle of the day and sets at about 12:05. So we don't really get any sunshine up here in the winter. So these are pretty much essential in winter. So these brackets, pretty standard to be able to buy. You can buy them from pretty much anywhere. So that comes in the kit, but then we've got this light as well. Now this is a LED light, like I say, from Mr. Tuning here. As you can see, it's the Stellar LED ramp. It's a dual voltage one, so anywhere between 9 and 36 volts. And we've got the Osram 5-watt LEDs in it. So let's have a look what's inside the box. Right, so like I say, it's a kit. So the first thing we get is a wiring loom with relay. Now basically, this is pretty much a plug and play kit. You can, if you want to, just attach these two wires to your battery, and that's it. It'll run, obviously, and that attached to your lights. And then obviously, it will run as it is. What you need though is somewhere to fit a switch. So you can switch your lights on or off. I don't want to run it that way, but I'll go more into that later. So it comes with a wiring kit with a relay. That's nice. But then we've got this light bar. Now the reason I've gone for this specific light bar is this. Look at how small that is. That is probably one of the smallest light bars I have ever seen. I think it's only about 5 or 6 centimeters in depth there. So it's a tiny little LED bar, and I really like that. I also like the fact that it's only a 20-inch one, so it's only slightly bigger than my number plate, because this obviously bolts at the back of the number plate, but gives plenty of power. Obviously it's got some blue tape on there, but we're not going to get rid of that later. That's the satisfying bit when we fitted it. That's like the reward for fitting it. So this is, like I say, a kit. It does come with lots of other parts to it, which is basically brackets. If you want to fit those brackets instead of using this, you can fit it to a roof or roof bars or a bonnet or wherever you want to fit it, you've got these brackets that fit on the edges. It comes with all the bolts, Allen keys, and all the rest of it, and everything you need to actually fit this to the car. But I'm going to run it as it is on this bracket, and I like the fact that it's small and discreet. So when it's fitted to the front of the Fiesta, you'll see it, but not as much as you would do if it was a massive giant thing. It's going to get nicely hidden on the car. I quite like that idea. So, like I say, I'm going to redo the wiring loom in a few minutes, but first we're going to start by fitting that light to the car. So I've got her up slightly just to work on her so I don't have to crawl around on the floor. And I've got this number plate holder that I bought from Silverstone last year. It's quite handy because you can lift it up there, change the number plate, and then you close it back down again and it clicks into place. Really, really nice holder. I like that. And as you can see, that has been bolted to the car with a couple of pop nuts. So this I can remove now. Behind that, we're going to fit that. And as you can see, it's pretty much exactly the same size as that. So it'll get nicely hidden behind the number plate itself, but it'll give me place for the extra light to actually bolt to. So that's where I'm going to put it. I was considering it, fitting it that way around so that it hangs underneath the number plate, but looking at how low that is, I don't think I really want to have it that low. It's quite low down to the car, to be honest, and I don't think I want it there. So I'm going to put it there. I don't think it's going to affect the cooling too much, because if it's fitted about there, then the extra light is only going to cover the metal part anyway, and it'll still allow air to go into the radiator. So I'm not worried about it restricting any air to the radiator or anything like that. So we need to now get rid of these two bolts. We need to measure up for more bolts. There are holes, as you can see, in the middle there, so I'll probably put a few more of these connectors on here as well, and then we'll bolt that to the bodywork and put the number plate back on again. And that's pretty much the extra light fitted to the car. We'll just have to sort out the wiring after that. There we go. Not too bad. I think I need to adjust the number plate very, very slightly just to get it to be level. I think it's leaning very, very slightly, but I'll get that sorted out. Right, so that is the extra light fitted. Quite happy with how it is. Now I did have to, and I don't know if you can see it there, but I did have to space it out slightly because the back of the light, even though it's really, really small, it's only like 5 centimeters thick, it did actually touch where the bodywork comes out. So that is now fitted. I really like the look of that. It's really discreet. You can only just see it really, but that's going to make such a difference to the candles that Ford fitted back in 1982. So now I can start to wire this thing in. So it does come with a set of cables, which I showed earlier, but I also mentioned there's one thing about it that I don't like. So it has the relay, which is great. It has the connector for the lights, which is great. It has power, so you've got a power and you've got an earth, which is great. What I don't like is this. It's got a switch, so that means that I have to switch the lights on and switch them off. I don't want that. I want them to come on when I turn the headlights on, the main beam. I want it to switch on the extra lights as well. So that I'm going to wire into the connector for my main beam instead, so that as soon as you turn the main beam on, it's as if you were switching this switch on. So I'll be getting rid of this switch and wiring those wires in, 2 of those wires, into the relay. One is an earth and one is a power. The other power is probably that light bulb there. So probably those black and red ones is fine, and the blue one is just an extra cable that I won't need anymore. So that's it basically. Going to wire that in. There's basically just a plus and a minus. They're going to stay. I'll find somewhere to wire them in. That's going to the back of the cable, and then we have to plug the relay in. So we're going to go up to the top of the car now, and we'll start looking at some wiring. But if you do want to run it with this switch, so there might be people that want to run it as like a light on the roof to give you extra lighting when you're driving somewhere, then obviously this switch is fine, but I don't want to use it that way. I want it to come on with my headlights, because that's when I'll be using it, is at night when it's dark. I want my headlights to come on with the extra light. So that's why I want to get rid of that switch and wire it straight into the relay instead. But you know, if you just wanted to run it from a roof or as a reverse light or a whatever, then it's a really simple plug and play kit. You've only got, like I said, the 2 plus and minuses there, the connector for the extra light, and you're ready to go. It's as simple as that. So it's a really nice piece of kit, but I'm going to adapt it slightly for what I want to do with it. So I've just started off by pulling the wire up to the actual light itself, so that can be hidden nice and neatly behind here with a little cable tie. I can then run the cables around here as normal, but obviously this isn't made for a little Mark 1 Fiesta, so the cables on it are massive. They are ridiculously long cables. So I think what I'm going to do is cut this open here, because I can put some more heat shrinking on it, cut all these wires down, wire them in properly as I want them to be, and make a lot shorter cable. Otherwise I'm just going to have to hide all of that cable somewhere, and I don't know where to hide all of that. So I want it to go here, which it means it's only that little tiny bit that I need. So I'm going to probably redo that relay and wire it straight into the relays that are here, and it'll be a lot less wiring for me to do. But yeah, it's a nice kit if you've got a massive long car, which I don't. Just going to pause this video in the middle just to let you know that the 4th of August is a date that you want to get in your calendars, because of the 4th of August, AD Bright has arranged a Fiesta 123 meet at Herbie's Diner, and obviously that's going to be part of my England journey. So if you want to meet Alice, Mrs. the Mechanic and myself, get yourself over to Herbie's Diner on the 4th of August between 10 and 1. If you've got a Mark 1, Mark 2 or a Mark 3 Fiesta, and let's fill that car park with as many Fiestas as we can, and I'll be there with a camera to film it all. So that's Herbie's Diner, 4th of August between 10 and 1. I'll see you there. Right, so I'm going to take this wiring apart from the bottom of here. Now, if you're not sure how to wire a relay in, then it's one of the things if you're going to get into cars that you need to learn to do, and they are really, really simple. As you can see here, I've got 4 numbers. I've got 85 and 86 here. They are the first switch, so they're whatever you want to switch your relay on. So in my case, at the moment it's got a switch. So when you switch that on, you get power across there, 12 volt power across there. When that gets power, you see the dotted line there is magnetic, and it pulls that pin. So your pin 30, which is here, is your power from the battery. So you've got power into the battery, but obviously it's an open circuit because it's not going anywhere until you put power across here, and it pulls that relay closed and it sends power out to 87. So 87 is the power out to my extra lights, 30 is from my battery, and 85 and 86, and it doesn't matter which way around you connect these up, but one needs to be earth, one needs to be alive. Now it's either can come from a switch like this, or as I want to do, it can come from a switch from my main beam. So when I put my main beam on, I'll get power in on my 85, let's say, and that'll switch that switch on and the earth to the 86. So that'll put power to that, pulling that relay closed and sending the power out to the 87. So like I say, really, really simple. So I'm going to start off by now pulling all these wires out, because I don't need any of them, I'm going to rewire the whole thing. Now you can buy a load of tools to pull these apart, but basically all you need to do is put something in that hole there. Now that screwdriver was too big. Each one of these little gold things have got a little tab on them, so if you just press the tab down, you should be able to pull the cables out. So I'm going to put a little pressure on that cable, and I'm going to put a tool in there to just press on that tab, and that pulls it out. Now the tab you can see on the back, so if I wanted to reuse this, what I'd have to do is pull that little tab, that's with the screwdriver, is to pull that little tab back out again, and as I put it in there, it will lock it into place again. So that's basically how you pull it apart. Now there are special fancy tools for doing all of this, but basically as long as it's small and pointy and it'll fit in that hole and you can just press the little tab with it, it'll work. Like that. And that's that. That's my connector now loose and all my cables there. And I'm not going to use any of them. I'll put new connectors on, new wires, and then that'll fit straight onto my relay. Like that. So we'll just put some new wires and new cables onto there. So that's without the lights. That's dip beam. And main beam with the extra lights on. Now it's not as good as you would expect, but that's because it's in a workshop and there's plenty of light coming in here, but that's a massive difference anyway. So yeah, I'm happy with that. What do you think? And that's the extra light fitted to the car, all fully wired in. Now, like I say, I can't really film it with it lit up because it's sunshine right now. As soon as we get further down in the continent, we'll be able to test that, but I'm really happy with the way that turned out, and I'm really happy with the brightness of it as it was in the workshop. So if you've enjoyed this video and you want to see more of it, then press that subscribe button. Don't forget Herbie's Diner. The 4th of August, I'll be there with AD Bright, Alice will be there, and Mrs. the Mechanic will be there. So don't forget to get over there. If you've got a Mark 1, Mark 2 or a Mark 3 Fiesta, make sure you get yourself over to Herbie's Diner and be there for the breakfast meet there on the 4th between 10 and 1. I'll see you there. But that's it for this video. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks a lot for watching, and bye bye.